What am I going to say here then? Nothing I can say. Since the last video, we've had a bit of progress on the Ranger. We just had the window cut out, hoovered it out, get rid of all the glass out of it because we didn't want the seats to get damaged in there. The last video you saw, the top of the engine was still on. We've stripped off the valve cover. Luckily the damage was just to that. As you can see, it knocked the sprocket off and it took a piece of this out, but luckily there was no damage to the top of the cylinder head. Obviously we knew the cover was destroyed anyway. There's damage to the wet belt. This is actually the best wet belt I've ever seen in the 2 litre Eco Blue, so judging from it I would say the mileage was definitely genuine. We've got a whole host of parts that we've took off that were broken. The inlet manifold was snapped off it, twisted the EGR pipe that goes down to the cooler. Thermostat housing was snapped off on the top, and then the bracketry for the ECU and the fuel filter housing were all damaged as well. But luckily none of the wiring seems damaged, which is really good news. Unfortunately we're gonna have to dig a bit deeper into this because as we've took this off we found swarf sitting in here. We have fished it out since, but we don't trust now that there's not metal sat in the sump pan. So next step we're gonna do now, get it over to the ramp, flick the sump off, show you what we find inside, over and out. We've got it up in the air, we've got all the under trays off. As you can see, we've got a good pile of shrapnel that come out from all these trays, obviously to do the crash. We've just flicked the anti-roll bar off already. We've got to get the steering rack off and the drive shaft off to get to the sump to get it off. A couple of hours work to do it, wishbone's got to come out as well. But what we're going to do first, we're going to strain the oil through a filter to see if we can find any swarf as it comes out. Is it possible to do an oil change without getting oil at least somewhere? I've got it on my lip, I feel like I can taste it. I don't think anything's going to come out of there, I reckon it'll all be sat in the sump pan. Fucking that glue's good. Oh, is that a big piece there? Oh, there is a piece of metal there. Next step now, we're going to flick the oil pump belt off it, dress all the areas where we've got a bond to, clean the sump back up because we're reusing that. There's no need to put a new one on, it's like brand new still anyway. And we'll get the timing belt chucked on. We'll show you along the way. We actually found what we were looking for now. So we've been dressing up all this, cleaning it up, ready to put the new belt in. We got around the back of here to clean all of these out and to blow them out. And if you can see here, I don't know if the camera picks it up, see all these pieces of metal that have dropped out from inside. Obviously, I can get them on my finger. There's one shard of it. Obviously, they're the last thing you need getting involved with the wet belt and the cam belt. So we're gonna get a magnet in there, fish them out, and then we're gonna give this more cleaning in there, get the airline in there and get it all blown out. And then we can proceed with the build on it. You can definitely tell this engine's a mile it says. Like, I've never seen one as clean inside as this. Keep going. How's your arm? We're ready for start assembly now. We flicked the oil pump off just to be sure because we were finding little bits of swarf here, there and everywhere on it. So come under here, Ryan, into the drip zone. There's just a massive mess, but we're all cleaned up. We've been everywhere looking for swarf now, so I'm confident now there's nothing left in there. But yeah, we've rinsed this out. We've rinsed all of the parts to it here. That's the little guard that we were worried about might have had something in it. Sump's ready, strainer. And then when we come down in a minute, we'll just show you the top. But let's get gluing it back together. Sump's ready to go back on, sealed. Oil pump, strainer, belt for the oil pump is back on. Everything's been torqued up to spec. You can just about see the oil pump there. Let's proceed with this. Right, you good there? Since the last video we've done, we've got all the inlet side built back up, new thermostat housing, a couple of water pipes, alternator that we showed you that was broken off, all of that's already in situ. Got brand new cam casing from Ford's. We stripped the engine down and checked it. There was no damage to the cylinder head. We've obviously previously had the bottom end out and done the oil pump belt. So now I'm going to show you how to reinstall these, how to torque them, and how to install the new wet belt onto the engine. Nice and fiddly. There's pipes and wires everywhere. Just got to be very careful when installing these that you don't knock the tappets off the tops of the valve springs. We'll show you how to get this torque down now. So there's 3 stages with them. We've already tightened everything down to 5 Newton meters now. So that pulls all the cover nice and tight up to the head and obviously shuts all the hydraulic tappets. Just run through it now. So there's 2 more stages yet. So every single bolt's got to be done up to 10 Newton meters and then double check to 10 Newton meters. And then this odd one out here has got to be 23 Newton meters because it's a 10 mil bolt. So we'll get that done. And then we're going to push onto the timing belt then. That's the interesting bit. So we're going to show you now how to time these 2 litre Eco Blues up. If you've had your cam cover off from a wet belt failure, it's always important. There's a timing pin here down the front. It's roughly there. You can see the holes there at the minute, but it lines up just behind here. So the reason we've turned that back now, if you bolt that down and piston 1's at top dead center, when you bolt it down, the valves will instantly push against the piston, which is not what you want. So what you're best off doing is just reversing the engine a tiny bit, get a long screwdriver, make sure the pistons are all flat in the bores. Then you can move your cam sprockets round. You don't actually need, we have got the proper tool for this. We've done so many now, we've just got loads of pins out of the tensioners. You can use them, you can even get away with using drill bits on it. But you just need to just time them. They are a bit tricky to turn. You just get them in position. You could use a drill bit for this bit, just to make sure they're secured in. They are a little bit tricky, so you've just got to get that lined up, drop that in. And now you know you're safe to put your engine back up. So we'll just rotate that until it comes around. We've got the timing pin for there. Then you're in time, ready to dress your belt onto the engine. And then at that point, once we've done that, pull the pin for the tensioner. We'll spin it over a load of times to make sure there's no colliding in the engine, but it'll be absolutely perfect. We're going to show you how to install the belt now. So on the bottom, we have got a proper locking tool, but you don't really need this. You can get away without this. You can just put a drill bit through the fuel pump and it will tell you that you're in time there. Obviously, if you have a snap belt, you want to make sure that that lines up as well as that, because that will go on in multiple ways. So that's the most important one to mark up. Plus you have 2 pink markers you can't quite see because the oil pump belt is on. There's 2 pink gears here that line up, and then that should drop in, because on these there's 7 revolutions of the crank because it's geared at the bottom end. So you need to make sure you're on the right stroke for the bottom, for the top. Then your next bit's your tensioner. You've got a little nodge in there, drops into that piece. Tensioner then should just line up. These come preloaded, so you don't actually have to do a lot with them. That's going in nice. Right, now, so we've gone with a genuine belt. They're not expensive, they're about 90 something pound plus the VAT at the minute. There is a couple of people make non-gen ones, but we prefer to always put the original ones back on, because these only ever fail through poor servicing, we believe anyway. So it's important to have the slack on this side, because obviously that's where the tensioner is. There's only a tiny bit on there. Just going to torque the tensioner now. That's good. And then pull the pin, and then that pulls the slack then. So it's all good. So what we're going to do now, we're going to remove all the locking tools out of it. Our drill bit. Don't need to take that all the way off just yet, because we can still spin it on. Because what we'll do now is we'll rotate the engine 7 times and check all our pins drop back in, and then we're confident then that we're in time, as long as there's no collisions in the engine as we're turning it over. But you'll feel them, you see. So a lot of people will just start them, but I like to just double check. And that's in. So that should hopefully be there. Yeah. Our little 8 should go back in there. Then you know now, the crank, fuel pump, cams are all in time. Fingers crossed. Glue this now, give it about 4 hours, let the glue dry. I'm going to fire it before we go home. Try and get down there, around that loom, on that crank. Where's that little locating down now? We're on make or break now. I've actually got butterflies in my stomach. We're all back in, everything's connected. We have got 2 fault codes in there, but we might have a bit of broken wiring, but we're going to plan on changing the whole wiring harness on the engine when we get the body off it. So, yeah, we're getting ready. What am I going to say here then? Nothing I can say. Right, I'm going to go turn the key. She's going to sound so gnarly. Tell you what, that went so much easier than the last one I put cams in. That went so much easier than the last one I did. I can't actually believe it. I thought, you do sound like they got no compression though, don't they, when they get going? The next bit of this is going to be something we've never actually done here at RMW before. We're going to integrate this into this. Right, as you've just seen, it started up to much surprise, dead straightforward, dead simple. But then, our camera guy, Rai, said let's do a couple of shorts for TikTok, just showing the belt snapped. And this is where it goes wrong, as you're about to see. Part 1 of the Transit has just gone live on YouTube. You head over to the bio, the link for that is over there. And then if you want to see how we've salvaged this bad boy MSRT Ranger from this, oh, that sounded real good, didn't it? So, as you've just seen, we went to start it. Must have been about the 4th time we started it. Been running for a good couple of 30-second sessions because we didn't want to get it hot, because obviously it's got no coolant. But what happened in the video is it went to start, failed, and it made a horrendous diesel knock noise. Now, we were listening to it and it sounded like there was air in the fuel. So we ended up chasing a problem that wasn't there. We spent 4 hours chasing this fault because we were convinced it was a fuel related issue. It had run on easy start.
It's a bit more optimistic than I think.
But it just wouldn't go on its own steam. So we led ourselves down a rabbit warren of thinking it was a diesel problem. When it wasn't, we're going to show you what it was. So the original ECU that was on it was damaged in the crash. Now, what threw us down the rabbit warren is, it started and it ran. So straight away we were like, it's got to be fuel. It had come up with its inertia thing that it had fuel cut off in the crash. So we were like, straight onto that. Turned out, we got him tested. There must be a break in the circuit board that controls the fuel inside of it. But we've got it running again, so we're back on track now. We can continue and get the body ripped off it. So we'll be back for more.